Today on Larry King Now, the star of the hit comedy series The Goldbergs, Wendi McLendon-Covey. The season finale is coming up, right?
Yes, it is.
Anything you can tell us?
I can tell you there's going to be a big cliffhanger, and someone's going to graduate from middle school. Spoiler alert.
Do you regard this selection comedically?
It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Unfortunately, I'm a citizen of this country, so it also scares me half to death. But I'm sure the rest of the world is having a nice big laugh.
Plus, so you may have the answer to the question everyone is asking.
Yes.
Are you Becky with the good hair? It's all next on Larry King Now. Welcome to Larry King Now. Since gaining fame as one of the cast members in the cult television series Reno 911, Wendi McLendon-Covey has been a force in the comedy world, starring in films like Bridesmaids alongside Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy. And for the last 3 seasons, she's played the overprotective matriarch Beverly Goldberg on ABC's hit comedy series The Goldbergs. Season finale airs Wednesday, May 18th at 8:30 Eastern. Were you always into comedy?
I was. Ever since I was a little kid.
You were a funny kid in school?
I was a funny kid in school, and I would make my parents laugh to get out of punishing me when I did something bad.
So you may have the answer to the question everyone is asking.
Yes.
Are you Becky with the good hair? Come forward.
I can neither confirm or deny, but my hair is very luxurious.
I might take that as a confirmation.
It usually is, but it's not me, surprisingly.
Okay, it's not you then. We crossed that off the list.
Yeah.
So the network TVs lately, there's not a lot of new comedies being hits, but The Goldbergs is why?
We managed to stick it out in a year that, our debut year was 2013, and only 3 comedies stuck around from that season. And I think, look, our show has a lot of heart, and it's genuinely funny, and people can watch it with their kids, and they can both bond together over the awkwardness of adolescence. Yeah, our show takes place in the 80s, but feeling weird as a teenager, right?
But most of the millennials, they were Generation Y then, right? Is that the way it works?
I can't keep those generations straight.
Does nostalgia play a part in the show's success?
Oh, it absolutely does. It absolutely does. And, our show is mostly told from our narrator's memory. So he's thinking back to when he was a kid and all the really nostalgic things that happened to him. So we never write a whole episode about one 80s pop reference. It has nothing to do with that. It's about his memories as a kid.
The cast includes Jeff Garlin and George Segal, 2 of my favorite people.
Yes.
Do you all get along?
I love them. I love my family. When we're not together, I miss them. Right now, we're on hiatus for 4 months, and I am beside myself because I don't get to see those people every day.
Why? What is it?
I really feel like they're mine. They're my people. And Are
you Jewish?
I'm not.
You're trying to join our tribe?
I'm not. I guess I am. Please accept me. Jews of the world, please let me in.
So they bleed into your real life?
Yes, they do. I see them more than my real family, so of course.
Does the producers have creative control? Does ABC control it? Who?
ABC's
Disney a tight ship, isn't it?
Disney? A pretty tight ship, but they don't come down on us that often. They pretty much leave us alone. I think at one point they said Jeff had been in his underwear too many times. But aside from that, they leave us alone.
What were the 80s like for you?
I was a really ugly teenager and spent a lot of time in my room moping.
Where'd you grow up?
Long Beach, California.
You were ugly?
I was...
What changed? I mean, you're not ugly. What changed?
I don't know. I guess my face fell down. It grew into my teeth. I had an awkward period that lasted about 17 years. Lasted into my mid-30s, so...
The season finale is coming up, right?
Yes, it is.
Anything you can tell us?
I can tell you there's going to be a big cliffhanger, and someone's going to graduate from middle school. Spoiler alert, it's the one kid who's currently in middle school.
But it's signed for the 4th year, naturally,
It
right?
is, yeah. We're very blessed.
Does the crew feel blessed? Do you feel blessed to have a hit?
God, I hope they do.
I mean,
I really hope they do, because I'm not kidding. It's the most fun I've ever had working. And our hours are long, Larry. This is not a live show. This shoots like a movie. Our hours are long. And I love those people so much.
So
every member of our crew.
So you don't do the one-day read, the 2-day rehearsal, then the one show in front of an audience? And
wouldn't life be so much easier if that's how it
is timing harder with no audience?
You know, you wonder if the jokes are going to land when there's no one there to laugh. Luckily, they usually do. But we have to watch it right along with the audience. And that's why live tweeting is so important, which is such a weird thing that people watch TV and tweet at the same time. But
yeah, it's crazy.
Lucky for us, they do, so we can find out what works and what doesn't.
Do cameramen laugh?
Sometimes they do. Sometimes they ruin takes.
We'll talk with Wendi about her experience attending the White House Correspondents' Dinner a couple of weeks ago and why she was recently lobbying Congress. We'll ask about for what. Stay with us. We're back with Wendi McLendon-Covey, one of the stars of the Goldbergs, and the season finale airs Wednesday, May 18th on ABC. So USA Today, the newspaper I worked for 20 years, invited you, along with Kendall Jenner and Rosario Dawson, Gabriel Union, and Miles Teller, to their table at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Mm-hmm. Did you enjoy it?
I thoroughly enjoyed myself. That was very sweet of USA Today to, give us invitations. And I was there in Washington lobbying with the Creative Coalition. So I got to attend as USA Today's guest, and that was just, it's a historical dinner. It's Obama's last one in the White House. So.
Get along with Kendall?
I did not meet Kendall.
Weren't you at the table?
They had a few tables, so I think Kendall, I think, is able to set up her own situation wherever she goes. So.
The president did very well.
Yes, he did.
He has
very funny.
A very good ability to deliver lines.
Mm-hmm. Very good comic ability.
Did he make it tough on the comic?
I think he did make it a little tough on Larry Wilmore because he was flawless. And, people were there to celebrate him, I felt, for the most part. They wanted to laugh. They wanted everything to be great. And Larry came out and, let the axe fall on several people. Not that it wasn't funny, but when you're sitting in the same room with those people, it sounds like there's not a lot of laughter going on, but there is.
A lot of hosts has been toughened by that. Mm-hmm. Don Imus got murdered. My friend Don got killed at that.
Oh, gosh.
Others too. And then some have succeeded.
Yeah.
Did you meet the president?
I didn't get to meet the president. No. But I did get to meet Valerie Jarrett, who's a lovely woman.
She's
fantastic.
Smart as a whip.
Yeah.
How about Bernie? Did you meet Bernie?
I met Bernie one time doing The View, but I didn't get to meet him this time.
What were you lobbying?
We were there to talk to senators about not decreasing the funding for the arts. So not decreasing the amount spent on the National Endowment for the Arts.
Think you got anywhere with a Republican-dominated Senate?
Yeah, I don't know if we got anywhere.
They're not crazy about the arts.
They're not crazy about the arts. Arts is kind of a dirty word for them. And in a climate right now where, people in Congress are reluctant to even spend money fighting the Zika virus, we're trying to keep, and that is not a joke. That is not a joke.
Did you have, what was the experience like for you to appear before them?
It was very informative, and I feel that, look, if we want to remain at the forefront of technology as a nation, we've got to teach kids how to think creatively, and they can't do that if they're just learning how to take standardized tests, which is pretty much what the public schools are teaching them. That's not a skill that translates anything.
Did you appear with others?
Yes.
Did they question you harshly, or?
No, they didn't. There were times when I felt like we were really being listened to, and there were other times when they were kind of like, let's move this along. We've already made our decision. So I don't know. Right now, it'd be nice to get that fund back up to 2011 levels. But right now, a cap is just as good as an increase. So that's about where we're at.
Did you find some of them really receptive?
Yeah, we did find some. And those are the ones who benefited from those programs themselves.
Someone who likes comedy, do you regard this selection comedically?
It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Unfortunately, I'm a citizen of this country, so it also scares me half to death. But I'm sure the rest of the world is having a nice big laugh.
It's electoral dysfunction, right?
How did this happen, Larry?
Are you supporting anyone?
I'm supporting the person who will win, which is Hillary.
You're confident of that?
I'm pretty confident.
Because people are getting to start to say that this Trump thing...
I gotta have faith, Larry, that when push comes to shove, everybody's gonna come to their senses. And even him, I think that at some point he's gotta say, you know what, I am full of it. Even I don't believe what I'm saying, He's in the wee small hours. He's got to think that, but who knows? Maybe a year from now, I'll be sitting here with you saying, "Boy, I was wrong on that one."
Have you always been politically active?
No, not always.
You're driven this year, though.
As I became an adult and these things started really affecting me, I'd say in the early '90s, I started getting active because it's irresponsible not to be.
Coming up, who's the actor Wendy would most like to work with? And later I'll ask her about her dramatic role in a new movie about Watergate. Don't go away. We're back with the very talented Wendi McLendon-Covey. She's one of the stars of the Goldbergs. This season's finale airs May 18th at 8:30 Eastern. There will be a fourth year and a fifth and a sixth. You'll be working a long time. You got residuals too, right? It's okay, Vendela. Listen. Vendela.
You bet.
Now that you're Jewish, I call you Vendela.
Vendela. Yeah.
What's Right Girl? WRITE.
Right Girl is one of my favorite organizations. They take teenage girls from 14 to 18 and they teach them how to write creatively, from songwriting to poems to essays to, novels. And all of these girls end up getting into college. It's an amazing program that teaches girls to write.
How'd you get? I never heard of this.
It's funny. They just asked me. Every year they do a thing where they, the girls spend all day writing comedy sketches, and then they have celebrities come and perform the sketches. And I've done it 2 years in a row. And those girls have chops. I mean, I laughed harder at some of the things these 15-year-olds wrote than I have, on any sketch comedy show on TV in ages and ages. So I'm very happy to be supporting them.
What's your take on pay equity in Hollywood?
My take on it is that, in my case, what happens is whoever shows up to the negotiation first gets the biggest chunk of the pie. Okay, so whoever has the best lawyers gets the most money. So by the time it comes down to the supporting cast, which is usually what I am in movies, we all end up getting favored nations. There's no room for us to get anything other than scale.
How about on the Goldbergs?
On the Goldbergs, it's funny you ask. We're in renegotiations right now, and I'm confident I'm going to get what I need.
Are you paid as much as the other two stars?
I don't know.
They don't
and I
share
don't
that.
want to know. I don't want to know. All I know is I work my ass off, Larry.
See, now, baseball does it smart. Every player knows what every other player is making. The players' union sees that. So the owners can't lie to you and say, you're the highest paid shortstop. Because you know what every shortstop
You know what everybody's making. But can you imagine if that were the case in Hollywood, the pouting that would occur?
You would be.
Not on my set. Not on my set. We're all angels, but I could just see some dressing room pouting going on.
Let's lighten up things a little,
Yes.
Vendela, of the Goldbergs. We're going to play a game of If You Only Knew. I throw some questions, you follow up. Guilty pleasure.
Champagne and dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate. I'm a milk chocolate guy. Well, anyway.
I like it bitter.
Do you have any phobias?
Yes, I'm afraid of spiders, and I'm afraid of going into the past, like reunions and stuff like that. I don't like them.
You're afraid of them?
Yeah. I feel like if you spend too long in the past, you end up getting stuck there. So, like for some reason, you'll go through the space-time continuum.
You don't go to your high school
backward.
reunion. You would go to.
I have gone, and they've sucked. So that's part of the reason that I don't like them.
An actor or actress you dream of working with?
I think Chris Lilly is really funny. He's done some stuff on HBO, and he's an Australian actor. He plays characters. I think he is brilliant. I would love to do something with him one day.
Something that always makes you laugh?
The show Broad City on Comedy Central.
I haven't seen it.
Give yourself that gift, Larry. Give yourself that gift.
What's it about?
Two crazy girls, two crazy 20-somethings trying to navigate New York City. It is so funny and raw and weird. That's how I get my ab exercises in for the day, is I watch Broad City.
Something that really ticks you off?
Entitlement. People who are spoiled. I don't like it.
Born rich?
People who just feel like, well, I'm at a certain level, so bow down to me. Don't like it.
If you weren't an actor, what would you be doing?
I'd be a veterinarian.
Last time you were starstruck?
It was over the weekend. I met Gabby Giffords.
Oh, great lady.
I
was with her the week before in Phoenix.
She's an amazing woman.
And her husband and
her
her brother-in-law, they don't do bad either.
Yeah.
Your most embarrassing moment?
Well, let's see. I got to meet Donald Fagen and Walter Becker of Steely Dan back in 2007. This is something I dreamed of my whole life.
And you were embarrassed?
I had nothing interesting to say. And I sat there like a dunce.
Two of your heroes?
Two of my heroes. I probably mentioned my cats or something completely uninteresting like that.
One thing you'd change about the world?
I would have some kind of universal health care for everybody, but actual universe.
Single payer.
Single payer.
If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
I would have, it would be something to do with vision.
I'd like to be invisible.
Would you? Then. Gosh, what about all the stuff you'd find out that you didn't want to know?
Yeah, I know.
You know?
Leave the room and then go back in.
And go back in. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got a point.
Yeah.
Is there a role you regret turning down?
Never.
Or not getting?
I never, ever think that way.
How about not getting a role?
It wasn't mine.
If you could have dinner with any person, dead or alive?
Ooh, I think it would have to be Jackie O.
Your most cherished memory?
The day I met my husband for the first time.
Where was it?
It was in community college. We were idiots. And it was in a speech class. And he walked in, he's really tall, he's 6'7". And he has big blue eyes, and I thought, I'm gonna know that person.
And boy, did you
I'm gonna know that, yeah. 23 years later, here we are.
Next, I'll ask Wendy about her dramatic role in a highly anticipated new movie. And we'll have some questions from fans and social media. Don't go away. Our guest is Wendi McLendon-Covey. She's one of the stars of the Goldbergs. The last episode for this season is May 18th at 8:30 Eastern. You're going to co-star in a new film about the Watergate scandal. Liam Neeson plays Mark Felt, and Mark Felt was, of course, Deep Throat. I did the only interview he did when that broke that he was the one.
I'm going to let everybody know that that is available.
They ought to have that scene in.
They ought to have you in the movie.
CNN has it. Liam Neeson's playing Mark, huh? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And how did you get the part?
I met with the director, Peter Landsman, and we just sat and had a conversation. I told him my take on the character, and apparently he liked it. But, she's his long-suffering secretary. So
at the FBI?
At the FBI. So she knows just about everything he knows.
So she knows it all along?
She knows everything. So I feel that, when she's there, she's like the gatekeeper to the whole situation. She can't say a lot because she's a woman and she's a secretary, but she knows stuff. And when she hands him his hat and his coat, she's giving him his armor.
When do you start shooting?
2 weeks in Georgia.
Who's producing it?
I'm not sure who the producers are at the moment. This is late-breaking news that this is all even happening. So.
A lot of stars in it?
Diane Lane plays his wife. Jason Bateman plays some member of the team. I haven't memorized who's doing what, but...
How do you like doing drama?
I love it. I just love... Honestly, Larry, I love my job. So I'm here to, play waitress number 4 or whatever. I love working, so...
Switching gears, Patton Oswalt, the narrator on the Goldbergs, he lost his wife, huh?
Yeah.
Do you know how he's doing?
He's got the sweetest little girl in the world, and I'm sure he's being strong for her.
What does
he's
she die
a very
of?
good very good dad. I don't know that it's come out yet, but it was unexpected, and she died in her sleep, and I can't. We're all still just gutted over it.
We have some social media questions for you. Jive Miguel on the Larry King Now blog. I read that you're in a movie with Nicolas Cage called Army of One. Mm-hmm. When will it be released?
Army of One is supposed to be released this year. I don't have a date yet, but that's going to be a good one. That's a dramedy directed by Larry Charles, who directed the Bruno movies and Borat movies. It's a real life story about a man who tried to go kill Osama bin Laden by himself. Just a guy from Colorado named Gary Faulkner. You might have heard of him.
And
tried to sail to Afghanistan.
Nick plays him?
Yes, he does.
And you play?
And I play the kind of weirdo that would fall in love with a guy like that.
You play whom?
I play his a girl that he went to high school with that he reunites with, and she kind of falls in love with him, even though what he's doing is completely insane.
Nick is one of those naturalistic actors, right?
Oh, yeah.
He goes to the moment and the feeling. What's
He's
it like
hardcore. That's a movie star right there.
You like working with him?
That is a movie star. Yeah, he is fantastic in this role. He looks like the guy. He sounds like the guy. He lived with long gray hair for a long time. He's in it to win it.
It's funny too, right?
Oh yeah, it definitely is.
Josh L1220, how did you keep a straight face during Reno 911?
I didn't. So many times I broke up and ruined takes. I'm kind of famous for doing that. Once I get the giggles, I can't stop. So.
Unseen servant on the Larry King Now blog. You went to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Who are you most excited to meet?
I really didn't know who would be there, but I was thrilled to meet Gabby Giffords, and I never get excited.
She's a great woman.
She's a great woman. I never take pictures with people. I never ask, but she was one that I just couldn't.
Scott on Facebook asked, do you think the Goldbergs would be as funny and as successful if it were set in the 90s?
I do. I do think it would be just as funny and successful if it were set in present day. I mean, it's
all on the page.
It's all based on this weird family and this.
But it's all on the page.
Yeah, it's all on the page.
It's in the writing.
Yeah, it would still strike the same chords. We'd just be wearing different clothes.
Rivera China on the Larry King Now blog. Has there been any talk of a Bridesmaid sequel?
There has not been.
Why not?
I just don't think that.
Those characters
want to do it.
No.
I mean, I think there's
there's
plenty of other stories to tell, but no one's working on it at the moment.
When you were making that film, one, did you know what a hit it would be? And did you know how funny it was?
I think I saw a test screening, and there were certain moments where people were just choking laughing. But, quite honestly, you never do know. I have a weird sense of humor, so what I think is funny doesn't necessarily translate to...
But Kristen Wiig has a weird sense of humor.
She has a weird sense of humor, and people love her, but
she's got a face that's just... She's funny.
Yes, she's funny. And one of the funniest people in that movie was Ellie Kemper, or I thought she was one of the funniest people.
She played who?
She played... Becca, I made out with her on the plane.
Yeah.
And now in Kimmy Schmidt, she's just killing it. Now everybody can really see how funny that girl is.
Will we have a lot more years of the Goldbergs?
I hope so. I
Me
hope
too.
so. I at least want to get to the grandchildren.
Thank you, doll.
Thank you so much.
I want to thank Wendi for joining us. The season finale of The Goldbergs airs May 18th on ABC. Remember, you can find me on Twitter at King's Things. I'll see you next time.